Okay, well, I'm really happy you're here to draw with me today. If you have already drawn Mio, now we're going to draw her monster truck, Mudwick. So Mio and Mudwick are from the Opal Ocean in Glam Prix Racers, and that's where they learned how to race. And Mudwick is a monster truck. It's got big tires and kind of a funky body. So we'll draw them from the front. It's a lot easier to learn that way. And then if you want to draw them from other angles, you can look at the book, Glam Prix Racers, and just get some ideas from there. So for now, let's just draw them from the front. So when I start drawing Mudwick, I always draw his head shape, or his chin, really. So it looks something like this. It's all pretty rounded, everything with these characters. They're very round. So it's kind of that sort of shape. And then he has two eyes that stick out the top. They're kind of like frog's eyes. Some people have said he sort of looks like a frog, which I never thought about before, but it's kind of funny seeing what other people think. So that's one. It's not really his eye, it's the part that his eye goes into. So we'll do that one, then we'll do the other side, and then we'll actually put his eyes on so you can see how it all works. So we're just going to draw this shape that's going to be around the outside of his eye. And then just like Mio, his eyes are ovals. So there's one eye, there's the other eye. And then we'll draw the pupils, which just go inside the eyes. So there's one. And the other one over here. There we go. And then at this point, I usually like to draw kind of the top of his head. It just is a little curve between the eyes. So it's something like this. There we go. So that's the front of his face. And now we'll draw the tires. And the tires are just big, chunky, round tires. But I kind of draw them a little flatter on the top and bottom. So they're not perfect circles, because tires aren't actually perfect circles when you look at them from the front. From the front, they're more like that kind of thing. When they sit on the ground, they kind of flatten out. So I do the same thing with Mudwick. So his tires are just, they're kind of like rounded squares, I think. That's how I think of them from the front anyway. From different angles, they look different. So there's one. And then we'll just do the matching tire on the other side. I'm just going to rotate it. I find it helps to rotate my drawing when I'm actually sketching, and I do that with paper as well. It helps sometimes if you're doing a tricky angle and it's just not working. Just rotate the paper and try it from another direction, and a lot of times that'll actually fix the problem. Okay, so there we go. We've got his head and the two tires. And now because we're looking at him from the front, you sort of see the inside of the fronts of the tires. So on his tires, they have little hubcaps, and they're actually pink. So I'm going to draw them here, and they just look like little ovals right now. So there we go. So it looks kind of funny, doesn't it? There's nothing actually connecting the tires to his head. And in monster trucks, a lot of times they have shock absorbers, which make it so the car can hit big bumps and it doesn't get bounced around. It actually just rolls over the bumps. So for the shocks, they're just these two little shapes with a little rounded part where they join the tire. And then they connect back up to Mudwick's head. So there's one. And I'll do a matching one on this side. There's two. And I'll add the springs later. A lot of shocks, you can see the springs going around them. And I really like that. I used to race RC cars when I was a kid. And I always thought shocks looked really cool. So that's what I like to do with these ones. So before we get too far, let's put Mudwick's mouth on here because it looks kind of funny without it. So he usually just has a big smile. I try not to draw the smile kind of the same on both sides. I like to angle it a bit so you can see it starts lower on this side and goes up higher on this side. Just gives him a little bit more character. So there we go. And now I usually just draw the tongue in there when his mouth's open, and the tongue is just a little curve like that. There. So now he's got a big smile, he's looking at us, he's got the shocks. Let's start adding some more details, because right now he doesn't really look too much like a car. I mean, he's got tires and stuff, but let's add a steering wheel on here. So the steering wheel goes right in the middle, just meeting the top of his head. So that's the outside edge of the steering wheel. Now we'll do the inside edge. Whoops. Like that. Then I usually draw one or two little cross pieces in the steering wheel. There will usually be a little straight part that comes from the middle out to the edge. And now we'll draw the seat where Mio sits. And this, from the front, it's just a little kind of boxy shape with rounded corners. Looks like that. And then he has two smokestacks that are on each side of the seat. And they come, the first lower part comes up about the same height as the seat, and then there's a part that sits on top that's a little smaller than the bottom part. So we'll just draw the one on this side as well. There we go. There, that's looking like Mudwick. So now one thing we have to do is make the eyes in the Glam Prix Racers style. So the way we do that is just to draw a little oval here, and that'll be white when we color it. And it's always in the top left. And then there's a rounded shape at the bottom and on both sides, and that's actually where the light goes through your pupil and comes out the bottom side, or that's what it's supposed to look like. There, that's looking like Mudwick. Now one thing we have to do is add the springs to the shocks. So the springs actually wrap around these parts. So the way I do that is I draw one shape that's inside the shock. It's just a little curve like this. Actually, I'll start this one down lower. So it's like this. So that's the part where the top of the shock touches the shock casing. And then I draw another one like this that kind of goes around that shape. So we'll just do that one here. We'll do another one down here. I'm trying to be careful not to have lines touching, like this line hitting exactly this line, things like that. We'll just do 3 for now, and I'll do a matching set on the other side. So there's my inside curve, outside curve, inside curve, outside curve, and then the last one, inside curve, outside curve. So you can see I'm just drawing over top of lines, and I've got the tire lines going through the shocks and all that kind of stuff. And that's okay, because when we're sketching, we always draw light so that we can go back and erase those things afterwards. So there we go. There's Mudwick. Mudwick the monster truck, and you can see how he looks with Mio sitting there too. So that's Mio and Mudwick, the racing team from the Opal Ocean, and I hope you enjoyed drawing with me.